you very much. I'll make sure she hears that. And Rudy, you might want to restart the recording now.
Yeah, I just restarted the recording, and I have some questions for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I said in the mail tonight is the Kindle with the lyrics to Johnny Cash songs, so that's coming and headed at you, and it's printed 4 pages per physical page, so you'll get 8 pages in one piece of paper, front and back, and that's all in the letter. You're still with me?
Yes, sir. That's wonderful.
Okay.
Probably might have, well, I will simply make numbers, like I'll number the paragraph so that when I make corrections, I'll say, oh, paragraph 7, please add this, or please delete this, and then I'll just mail it back to you.
Okay. And don't forget to mail me your newsletter update, because you said you were having to write each one out individually, which is, I can imagine, a major pain. So if you just mail me one of those, I can copy it and mail you back, 25, 30, 50, whatever you want.
Oh, Laura has that on her computer, so email Laura Beth and say they're not copying them for me here anymore. They did and they won't again.
Okay.
So ask her to go through it and change it. For instance, it says on there you can do whatever PayPal thing for Ernie Land. That is not correct anymore. They just have to send the money directly to Ernie.
Okay.
For legal defense.
All right.
Before I made copies, I had to draw a line to do that one.
Okay, very good. I'll play this message for Laura so she'll hear it. Also, the Kindle.
From San Jose County Sheriff's Office.
I have it in PDF format, not Word document format, which means that I can't really make the edits that you're going to send me. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. Do you understand the difference between PDF and Word document?
I do. You're talking about the newsletter?
Well, no, I'm talking about the actual Kindle. When we found the book, which my wife had bought it from you like 5 years ago, she found a PDF file.
Okay, Randall can take a PDF file, scan it, and turn it into characters.
Okay, very good. I'll get with Randall.
Randall knows how.
I'll get with Randall. Now, I've also made a video and asked people to help me with the FOIA request, because I need help on that, and there's just so much to do. So I'm seeing if I can't get anybody to volunteer to help me with the FOIA request, the Freedom of Information Act. Kip Molinex, you said to reach out to Heather. My wife did that, and she put, we got money on her account, so Kip should be able to call his wife. Heather loves Kip as well. I got a question. I put a video up.
Thank you.
No problem. I put a video up and I said, does anybody have Bible questions for Ken Hovind? If so, send me an email to my email address and I'll try to ask you and record the answer if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I love it. Makes me feel useful in there.
Okay. I did get one email already, and if you like, I could read it to you.
Sure.
Okay. This is from a lady by the name of Teresa. It says, do you think you should tell him about Pastor Anderson and maybe say a prayer for him? Are you aware of what's recently happened to Pastor Steve Anderson?
No.
Okay, he has 8 children, and my understanding is the CPS, Child Protective Services, he's been speaking out real strong against homosexuality, and he's a big King James advocate, and to say he's a bold warrior for God. Yep, okay, so the CPS showed up at his door like at midnight, and I think the Sodomites called CPS on him, and they're threatening to take away his children, and so we need to keep him in our prayers. Of course, you know Wiley Drake received a $50,000 IRS bill after he got involved. So us Christians, it's kind of if you're just a honeybee Christian, undercover Christian, nobody bothers with you. But if you're an outspoken, bold...
60 seconds remaining.
Anyway, that was her first question. She also had a second question. It's up to you whether you want to call back. She also wants to know the apathy, what to do about the apathy of Christians.
Okay, I'll be glad to call back. I'll do that right now. Yeah, tell Steve I'm praying for him. He's a great man of God. And Paul Hansen may get out tomorrow night, and so he'll be able to handle stuff from outside. You got his cell phone number?
No, I do not.
Okay, I told him to call you if he gets out, so
okay.
You may be able to work with him on some of that. He can probably help Steve Anderson way more than I could. Let me call right back.
Okay, all right.
Link, prepaid call from
Ken Hovind.
An inmate at the San Jose County Sheriff's Office. This call will be recorded and monitored. Your advance pay account balance is $13.85. For customer assistance, billing inquiries, or to block future calls, dial 1-877-650-4249. To hear the cost of this call, press 8 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. This call is subject to monitoring and recording. Do not use three-way or call waiting features during this call. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right, thank you, brother. Yes, I think it may also be able to help get damages to Steve Anderson. So please work with him closely on that.
Very well, yep. Of course, the CPS showing up at midnight threatening to, take away your children is I can imagine, very, very concerning and terrible. So it's just...
The mother, gee whiz.
Yeah.
Women take that word. Men are a little tougher, like, okay, bring it on.
Yeah. Like, I dare you to try that. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also, Teresa asked about, she's very concerned about the apathy of American Christians. Just nobody seems to be standing up for the Word of God, standing up for biblical principles. Nobody really cares. A lot of people don't care about what's going on in the world, and she was concerned about that. And I guess she wanted your thoughts on that, or what do you think we should do if there anything can be done.
Now, A, don't let them slow you down. You decide which way you're going, and you go there. If somebody wants to come along, they can come along. But this has been a universal problem. It's worldwide, and it's history long. It's happened from the beginning. So don't worry about it. I don't care. When I started my ministry, I said I don't care what any other creation ministries are doing. I don't care if anybody else wants to come along with me. God has told me to go this direction. God's told me to do this. I'm going to do this. In 1 Samuel, it's about chapter 10, I think, it says, after Saul got called to be king, it says, Saul went home to Gibeah, and there went with him a band of men whose hearts God had touched. God touched some people and said, go with Saul, and they did. Apparently, a lot of others, God didn't touch their heart, and they didn't go with Saul. Okay. God told Gideon, tell everybody to come to war, and 32,000 showed up. Out of, 2 million in the country. Well, where's the rest of them? It doesn't matter. So you never stop doing what God told you to do because nobody's going with you. Elijah thought he was the only one. 1 Kings 18, I think. He said, Lord, I'm the only one. And God said, no, I've got 7,000 more. But even if you are the only one, get going, man. You do what I told you to do. So forget the apathy. That'll just discourage you thinking about it. Dietrich Bonhoeffer faced this in Germany. Some of the German Christians said, we've got to go along with Hitler. He's the, ruler that has to do what he says, blah, 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 like 501c3 or whatever. The church has always split over these issues of, should we go along or not go along, and nothing's going to change. My case just illustrates it as all. It's nothing new. It's the same thing, repainted and re-offered to the public. So give to Caesar that which is Caesar's, I agree, and to God that which is God's. No problem out of me. Kent will do both of those.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Hovind. And God has a unique sense of timing, because as you were talking, another question came in. I might, I put this video up, and my inbox might start getting flooded, but another question come in. If you like, I can read it to you.
Hey, sure. Does Randall have the 2 Peter 3 site linked to yours, to this kind of video stuff? Do people...
I hope he does. I hope he does. I'll play this for him and ask him to listen at this particular point.
Tell him do that right away. Don't tell him don't eat. Till he gets it done.
Gotcha.
That will motivate him. That boy likes to eat.
Okay.
He's a great blessing to me, though. Okay, go ahead.
All right. It says, Dear Dr. Hovind, my husband and I are married without a license, as we believe that the Bible states clearly that one should not make a covenant with non-believers, as outlined in Deuteronomy 7:2, etc. I want to make sure we have done what is right in the eyes of God, but fellow Christians say we're not really married because we didn't get a license. However, my husband and I have made a commitment to one another and to God to live as man and wife, forsaking all others till death do us part. We have a covenant agreement that we have both signed, hanging prominently in our home, and we have even recorded our marriage date in our family Bible. We have even purchased a Bible law handbook that lists all of God's laws so that we may do our best to follow God's rules on how to have a true marriage. The reason I ask this Like I said, people sometimes say to me, "You're not really married," and it hurts and makes me doubt. If my husband and I are working so hard to follow God's rules, why should it matter if we receive permission from the state when marriage ultimately belongs to God? And honestly, I cannot bring myself to make a covenant with the state when we have already made a covenant with God. Please advise. God bless you so much, J.R. Sapinski.
Okay. That is certainly not my field of expertise. I do have an opinion on the topic. I think they are probably right. No such thing as a marriage license until after the Civil War, when blacks wanted to marry whites in the South. That is my understanding of it. Everybody, Abe Lincoln did not have a marriage license. George Washington did not have one. Were they married? Yes, the custom of America was you both sign the page in the family Bible, and that's a certificate or a proof of your marriage. You get two witnesses, and that's all you need. So, but that's way off my radar. I don't understand it all. But if you want to have the state recognize it, I don't know. You can go down at the courthouse and tell them, "Hey, we're married." You can register a marriage without requesting a license to marry. That's my very limited understanding of it. That it's an optional thing. I don't think people who go get a marriage license from the state have committed any crime or any sin. You do whatever you want, but I certainly don't think it's necessary. That's my very limited understanding. Probably you could talk to Paul Hansen. He would know a lot more about that, even though he's not married. He's 50 years old, very knowledgeable of, you got to be careful getting into contracts. Deuteronomy, or Proverbs chapter 6, if you've stricken hands with a stranger, he made a contract, get out of it if you can. You don't want to get into any contracts unnecessarily, especially with the heathen. Proverbs is full of wisdom on that, so I would advise great caution before anybody gets into a contract or a license to do something with a secular entity. I mean, if you have to, but I just advise caution. Get a lot of advice on that first, but not from me, because I don't understand it all.
Okay, I have two messages here. One is from Ms. Maureen Leary. She said she wants to mail you more letters, but she's waiting to get more postage when she can afford it. And she sends her love. She's the one who has MS. Okay,
yes. She might want to get a hold of Bill Sardi in California, knowledgeofhealth.com. Bill Sardi is the smartest guy I've ever met on nutrition. There are some vitamin-mineral combination things that greatly help people.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
I've been locked up 8 years and haven't seen a computer in that time, but I think it is a substance called IP6, the letter I, the letter P, and the number 6, that, or maybe it's a hyaluronic acid, HYL, however you spell it, hyaluronic. But it rebuilds the sheath. Most MS sufferers have the myelin sheath around the nerves is deteriorated. It's like your nervous system is shorting out, like the rubber is cracked or insulation is cracked on your wiring. And this hyaluronic acid rebuilds it and is able to reverse MS, is what I've heard. Bill Sardi would know all that. It's been 8 years, but I think I know his number, 909-956-9507. Try that, 909-956-9507. I can remember numbers, but I can't remember a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk when my wife sends me to the store. I have to always call back and say, milk and what else?
I have another message here.
Bill's number, anyway.
I'm sorry, I was just going to tell you I have another message here from Jim Searcy. Does that name ring a bell? I think he had something to do with looking for the Ark.
Maybe Ron Wyatt. I think it's he's associated with Ron Wyatt, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay, well he called from the middle of the Gulf of somewhere on a ship, and he said he wants you to know he's thinking and praying about you.
Well, amen. Thank you.
He sends his love.
I don't think anybody's ever done research on this. The Bible says God gave Israel the land from the river of Egypt to the Euphrates River. Draw a line on those two. I think the entire Sinai Peninsula, but also the entire Saudi Arabian Peninsula. Boy, will that make the Saudis mad. I think that's probably God's promised land to Israel. And that would include Yemen and the Gulf states down there. And so we'll have to see about that. But it appears like when the children of Israel wandered around for 40 years in the desert,
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
they wandered around Saudi Arabia, because Mount Sinai's over there. Galatians says Sinai's in Arabia. It's not the Sinai Peninsula. But yeah, tell him thank you so much. And Ron did fabulous research. And Richard took over for him. Fabulous. Richard and I are good friends. And if he just keeps reading his Bible, he can be a Baptist too. That's always a joke I tell him.
That's funny.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you want me to call in, tell people I'll be glad to answer any questions. A, it's a lot quicker than me writing and a whole lot cheaper. You're paying the bill instead of me for the stamp. And B, it's a great blessing to me. I can feel useful for the Lord in here. So please do. Love this.
Very good. Also, one other thing is, you mentioned Mickey at mickeyhatfield.com is to reach out and to try to recover some of your books that I think Josh Jocelyn is working to recover as well. So I did send him an email today. No response just yet, but it's not expected because it's so soon. But any other ideas that you come up with as you're thinking about things about how to recover these books? Maybe Josh knows, but I'm working with him to try to get them all together.
Yeah, Mickey, the only one he did is the Kennel.
Oh, okay.
Fabulous shop. Loved it.
Okay.
But it does have quite a few typos. Nothing super major. I mean, it was good as is. So if Randall can just get it out or get some copies up there available.
What was Mickey's email address again?
Mickey did What on Earth is About to Happen. That's the only one he did.
Oh, okay. Mickey at okay.
Mickey at mickeyhatfield.com.
Mickey?
He's in Richland. Yes. He's in Richland, Washington. If you look at the state of Washington, it's kind of in the southeast corner. You could probably get information and check his phone number from there if you need to call him. But he's worked on a nuclear sub for a while. Great guy. Loves the Lord. Loves our ministry. And I think he was an engineer of some type. But anyway, he did the What on Earth is About to Happen.
Okay, he did not do the Kennel then.
No, that was Dennis Thomas, dthomas at usa.net, I believe. Dennis Thomas. Randall has all the contact information for all these people. Now,
Okay.
so Dennis Thomas only did the Kennel, one book. Mickey Hatfield only did one. John Mooney, Jonn, John Mooney in Tennessee did a lot of my children's books. And 4 or 5 of them. Did a fabulous job. He did the long trip series with the grandkids. He did the one that I'd love to see up there. I did a debate with an atheist from Morris, Minnesota, University of Minnesota in Morris, P.Z. Myers. I did an email debate just this spring, last March, back and forth. And so he made a little booklet out of it called Whose Mouths Must Be Stopped. That one needs to be up. That's ready to go, like right now. But John Mooney, Mooney, Randall has his contact info. And so get that one and get that up, and that'll really help people.
No, very, very well. Very well. Any other thing from you, baby?
I just wanted to go over that other message that we had that I wrote down and I kind of scribbled it. Something about Caria, and he gave me a number. I called Grandma, write to him, Jude, public defender, Bostic, put money on account number. I got the number, and then it says Joshua needs, and I got another phone number, and then it says Louise Beltran Federal. They don't take money like mine for commissary. Was that all one person? I've got 2 phone numbers for this person, but I wasn't really clear on the message.
Well, I don't recall now. I've led 5 guys to the Lord here this month, including one this afternoon. But one
Praise God.
Joshua, that was from him. I don't recall the details. Let me see if I can see him standing out here anywhere. I mean, we're all in one big room, but
It's something to do with calling Grandma. Calling Grandma to write to him, and then it says Jude. And then
it would have been probably Joshua.
Joshua needs.
See where he's at. I'll find out when I see him. He's coming to Bible study, growing in the Lord, just doing really, really well. It's amazing watching him grow. But I don't. If there's.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Hey,
If there's any more to it, I'll call you. Let you know tomorrow.
Okay, let me just throw this question and plant it in your mind, and maybe next time you can, if there is an answer. If God can create a rock that He cannot lift, then God is not omnipotent. If God cannot create a rock so heavy that he cannot lift it, then God is not omnipotent. According to this argument, omnipotence is self-contradictory. Therefore, God is not omnipotent.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it next time.
That's an age-old one from the atheist. Sounds great. All right, thanks.
Okay, God.
Brother. Tell folks this is a great way for me to get messages.
Very good. God bless, Dr. Hovind.
Oh. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.